Hello, everybody. Thanks for riding the transcendental waves of freedom. I'm Jeff Bailey.
And I'm Michael Burrows. Today, we're going to talk about what is the point of patriotism. You know, when I was younger, I was told it was good to be a patriot. And I swear in the South, there is still a ton of patriots. We are surviving nice and strong. But then, America is better than everyone else, is what it comes to mind when we think patriotism. Like, why would we be a patriot if we weren't the best, right? And so, you join the military and you go all over the world and you do these things in the name of freedom and democracy and and patriotism. And then you realize, wait, everyone in the whole world is looking at us like we're the biggest bully. And so really that's what being a patriot is like. You walk in and you say we're better than you. Nobody likes that person. And when smart people start to realize that, it just makes you go, makes you ponder what is the point of being a patriotism, especially when my country is the biggest bully out of everything in the world. And like there's no other country in the world that has military bases in 400 countries or however many countries we have. You know, Jeff, what do you think about being a patriot these days? What is when you hear someone's a patriot? Like it means to me, it means something different than it meant 20 years ago. What does it mean to you? What do you think about that?
Well, I guess to me, it means about the same thing as it did 20 years ago, as far as just national pride. I don't think you have to necessarily think you're the best to be a patriot. I think you have to want to be the best or whatever. And people I guess striving to be the best has different meanings because I would say other countries would say that they're patriots of their country or whatever. The biggest thing here is just the way that, I mean, patriotism almost means like America can do no wrong. We have like such a problem of like admitting our own faults in this country. And the crazy thing is like in private conversations and a lot of not even just like publicly, like social media and everything, people are starting to talk about like the stuff that they see that's like wrong with this country. I mean, our education's terrible, the healthcare system is a scam. We've just got all these different things going on, and I mean, it's crazy that the same people that like admit that all this stuff is going on and it's terrible will still be like, well, but America's the best. And to me, it's just like there's so much stuff going on wrong in this country that the whole like America's best charade is starting to fall apart. The point of patriotism is to like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have like, I mean, I wouldn't call it pride, but I'm like, I look around at the world that like the landscape that is America and what we've been given from sea to shining sea, and I see nothing but like an opportunity that being wasted. I don't know. So I would still say that like I would like to see what this is be what it could be. Um, Maybe that makes me a patriot.
Well, and we will see what it's going to be. The world is changing. The United States is changing, and damn it, we're young. We're going to see what it's going to be. And that's one another thing. You patriots, a lot of time, I think, are congruent with pride, and it's in this country, which, if you ask me, wasn't founded on Christianity, but Christianity uses pride more than any other group. I would say the only people that I feel are still really at least the most prideful for this country, are Christians. They're the most proud of this country. And their book, the Bible, Jesus said, do not be pride. Do not be prideful, do not have pride. But yet, again, not only pride for the country, also pride for their faith. I mean, just the degree of flat out hypocrisy right there is just, to me, iconic with the hypocrisy of patriotism.
Well, I mean, like I guess like I we've talked about this. I feel lucky to and blessed to be here, but I mean when I look around, I see like a country that has the most money and the most powerful military in the world, and then I see we have like, one of the highest homeless rates among developed or among rich countries, among wealthy countries, countries that we consider first world countries. I mean, we have some of the highest homeless rates, the highest crime rates, the highest like incarceration rates. I mean, so like to me, it feels like we're a system that's failing its people, and I mean, it's hard to say that like I'm a patriot when I kind of believe that like we should be doing basically everything differently. It's like we're watching late
Right.
stage capitalism die right in front of us. More and more people are hungry, committing suicide. And it's just like people want to say we're watching the collapse of Rome or whatever it is, but like we're just watching what happens when the middle class is eroded and I mean, nobody cares about taking care of the person next to them. We're all more worried about like hoarding away things
It's
and
all about profits. It's
yeah,
not about people, is it?
everything in this
In
whole
in
society
this
is about
country.
money.
Right.
Is about money.
And I mean, it sounds good in theory, but when you realize it, like logically, profits are more important than people, it's just as stupid. And I've got an MBA. I mean, I got a master's degree in business, and the way they teach it just takes the thought of people right out of it. You know,
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're not looking at it as like you're starving people to death to make money, but like when you look at the way that like I mean, our farms stop producing food to control like the supply and demand. We our produce at grocery stores, like 30% of that gets thrown away. Like there's like we're just very inefficient in a bunch of different ways in order to make sure somebody's making money, not to make sure that people are taken care of in a society.
we're very efficient at making money,
Yes.
but to make money, someone has to make it, right?
Well, that's the thing. And like we create this scarcity in order to pretend like some people deserve stuff more than others. And it's just like I get it. We all have different quality of skills and abilities in a society, and like I mean the way that like athletes that have like extreme talents get paid more in certain sports or whatever, like a society that takes care of everyone first doesn't mean that nobody gets any of the extra cool stuff. Like I mean,
Dude, I feel like older people than us, they used to value work and they used to want to work and they would be at work and they get addicted to work and people are still doing that all the time. Now, I don't know why people value work so much. It has to be because the more money you have, the better quality of life you have. And the only way to get that in America is to work. But I tell you, there's a lot of things I'd rather do than work. I mean, I'd rather be playing. I'd rather be, roller skating. I'd rather be spending time with my kids, my friends. I'd rather be traveling. There's a
there's
lot of
actually a study, I can't remember what it was called, but it's like some one of those like paradox studies where it talks about like the that like basically it does like your amount of money does determine your amount of happiness, and then up to a certain point. And then once you have a certain amount of money, like happiness doesn't change the amount of money you get past that.
right. It used to be, I think, before the pandemic, 70,000. Now it's probably, let's just round it up easy to $100,000. If you had $100,000 a year, all your needs would be covered and you would have time to enjoy life. Now, just think if all the rich ass motherfuckers, I mean nice people, if they just dropped their salaries to something higher than that, but less than billions a year, it sounds like there'd just be enough for everyone to kind of live peacefully. Like there might be enough for everybody, but they're telling us there's not.
Well, it's like the Walmarts and the Amazons, these giant mega corporations that are global companies, like make more than most of the countries in the world as far as money, and then they have employees in these countries, or in our country, their employees can't afford, a basic one bedroom apartment, both on a, like, single income. And it's crazy. Like, that to me is just like,
Dude, I remember growing up and watching The Simpsons, and Marge was a stay-at-home wife, and Homer had a job that he probably needed college for, but somehow got into. And it's like, the average person can live off of one salary in a household and still, have fun. That's that's not real, is it?
well, no, man. I mean, just like, we've had in the 50s, you could be like a milkman or the mail guy and just be fine. And, like, some of these, like, UPS drivers are making like 40,
Dude,
$50 an hour.
and the
Like,
male guys, they are. I mean, that's a federal job. They ain't doing too poorly.
yeah, but I bet you they're like, their spouse works as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and that's what I'm saying is, like, yeah, that's still a good job, but
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
it takes like both people in the household
It's
working one of those regular, just good
good
jobs,
jobs, right?
and then, like, you have to have a great job to be working by yourself.
You do. And a lot of people have two good jobs. They got to have two good jobs now, or at least one good job and one second job.
Some of these, like, master electricians and stuff like that, they're starting to see, like, where it's like those people do deserve to be making more than the average person, like, but their incomes are starting to be affected to where, like, they're barely getting by. And it's just like, it's crazy to me, man, where it's just like this highly skilled labor in this country is basically like barely getting by. All the factories are gone. We're like, but yet we have the most money in the world. So where's it all going? Well, to basically 0.1% of
Right. It's
the
going to the
population.
same few people, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And we all know this. And, like, so, like, that's the thing. And we just say there's no way to get around it. There's nothing we can do about it. But, like, the fact of the matter is like, we keep buying all their stuff. We've basically, we don't grow any of our own food. We don't make any of our own medicine. Like, and
Well, we
we
can't. What can we do? It's like everyone is trying. It seems like to get to the point where they don't have to work, but to get to that point, someone else is
has to work
working,
for you.
and you got to take some of their profiting, man hours, so you don't have to work. And in that, I guess, and uh, with that, with the amount of return on investment from the taxes we give to our government, and we don't get shit back compared to other countries, it's just like, what is the point in working and then giving it to some to the government that don't do shit, but the boss don't do shit. Like, nobody even trusts their boss anymore. Like, there's no long-term investment in employees anymore. All these companies just look at people as robots and machines. And I think people are starting to realize that, I guess, people are not as smart as we like to give them credit for, and they didn't realize they were just modern slaves to all these companies, and saying, "Hey, you got freedom," but you don't really got freedom. I mean, you don't have freedom to stop working, do you?
Well, no, and I think that, like, that's the whole thing is, like, we've entrenched ourselves so much in this system, and, like, we've gotten so far away from, like, what it means to be independent or free, that, it's not going to be like tomorrow as everything's fixed. But what the way to shut this thing down is, to me, like, literally just start growing something in your windowsill if you don't have a yard, like, grow a little bit here and there, like, put less and less money in these people's pockets, and slowly the system is going to have to change. The fact of the matter is like, all these technologies should be available to everyone.
So you're saying, are you saying drop out as of many systems as you can?
Yes. Like, yeah, and stop lining their pockets. Like, you want look at the S&P top 500 companies on the stock market or whatever, and then, like, 90% of those companies are invested in by BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. Like,
You think just people doing that is going to stop these guys?
no, I don't think it's going to stop them. Like, I don't like it, but like I said, it's not overnight, and it's just like, you take a little bit of power at a time, and then, like, the more and more power we take back, the more and more they're going to continue to show themselves. Like, we've
I think it's because of mainly technology that they're starting to show
yeah,
themselves.
that's what I'm saying. And then the more like we the veil has been opened with technology. The internet has
Mm-hmm.
shown us that like look, this very few amount of people control the amount of decisions you get to make.
And everything you thought was free is not as free as you think.
No, and like so like the fact like okay, so
I mean, you know,
we're so addicted to comfort, man. Like that's kind of my thing is like even just being able to sit in this room and like have feel comfortable. It's freaking freezing outside and we're wearing t-shirts. Like and it's just like we've got to be willing to like let them know that we don't need them. Like some sort of little bit of suffering on our own part, like in transition. And some of those people that have already been doing the homestead or our local farmers become as much like the Amish as possible. And then like I mean, start to grind this stuff to the halt and like
because if we ever want them destroyed, we have or changed, we can't rely on them then either, right? We got to have independence from systems. Is that what you're
yeah,
saying?
so if they
Just
threaten
like
to
the
take
Amish
stuff
do,
away,
right?
yeah, if they threaten to take stuff away
They
from
can
us,
take anything they want away.
but we will survive. Like
Right.
we don't need them to survive.
And
They
not
like
only are you surviving, I mean, if you talk with the Amish, they're not fucking surviving. They're happy as shit.
yeah, right. Like and you can take your own religious beliefs and have these little groups of people that take care of themselves and build their own stuff and grow their own food. Like I mean,
So it sounds more maybe like you believe communes or communities are
yeah, I
are the
mean,
way.
like I think yeah, small scale communism is like the way to go and most local governments taking care of your own community. And like
That's kind of
eventually
how it was said it was. You know, when I was in school, that's kind of how they disguised the way it is right now. Like, oh yeah, you have your local government, and there's the ones who take care of the local people, and you're like, oh yeah, I got a local government. My city helps me and takes care of me.
but they get their funding from where, right? The federal government.
Right. There's always strings attached to it, and it's not like my government is mine. It's my government is the big government's, and it's just the
It's a
local
liaison
jailer.
between you and the
Right.
big government.
Yeah.
Like it's not really its own independent entity. And I mean, like the crazy thing is like, I mean, I don't believe that like this is going to go over well, but like capitalism is killing America. Like in the we could find it, even if it would just like if would have found like some sort of middle ground to where like so many people that are actually willing to work weren't able to feed themselves. Like this whole thing would have like people have been blindly doing it for 100 years, like
Right. It
since the
seems like
Industrial Revolution.
people just work to eat. It seems like most people, like most people in the working class, just work to eat. Why? What would you do with your life if you didn't have to work to eat? You know how much you know how much stuff you could put in your head. You know how much information is out there. I'm telling you, I had no idea. I used to have to work, and then I became disabled, and now it's just reading, reading, reading. I'm telling you, I never knew I could become this smart. I never thought I was even potential, and it was mainly because I thought I would never have the time to take in this much knowledge. Audible has helped a lot too, but it's just crazy.
I will say that America is one of the worst countries about allowing its citizens any amount of free time. We work more, we have less family help, like when we have childcare, like we have some of the most expensive childcare in the world, and you can't say that it's the best childcare in the world because we have some of the highest rates of child mental illness, ADHD, all kinds of these like things like we're one of the worst in the developed world. So like I mean the to say that we're the best or that we're doing things right, like I try to say that like I mean
Really, the only thing we're the best in is the biggest army,
and
and
money.
and we make the most money. That's the only thing we're the best in.
I mean
Like
we did save the world from coronavirus, I'm pretty sure.
we created the corona the vaccine, but we also funded the science to make the coronavirus. So I don't know which one's the worst.
Well,
You
see,
know?
I guess that's what like what I would say like capitalism has like shown us is it like it has to create scarcity. So we throw away food in order for people to make money that sell food. And that's the crazy thing. It's like food is something that's essential. It's like one thing to like for the De Beers company to destroy diamonds in order to control diamond prices and pretend like that's the most rare element on the earth, but like for people to destroy food so like we can make money off of it and other people are going to starve, that starts to seem inhumane. But the game that is capitalism is to create an issue that needs to be solved and then solve it.
And
And it's just an endless game.
and don't forget, in this game, we have the most nuclear weapons, and we are the only country to ever have used them. And the rest of the world really likes us because of that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, it's been fun.
America. Fuck yeah. We're
Yeah.
here to save the motherfucking day. Yeah.
Peace out, brothers.